For the hypest their news in the game. Beauty tips and more to help tame your mane. If you wanna stand out from the crowd, tune in to Jess and respect the crown. Respect the crown. Respect the crown. Respect the crown. Respect the crown.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jessica DeVault-Hale, and you are listening to Respect the Crown. And today it's going to be all about the hot topics. And to discuss these matters, I am here with Miss Aissatou, who is the well-known celebrity stylist known for her braids and crochets and lock styles. How you doing today, ma'am?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Girl, I'm good. I'm just really happy that you're here today because we got a lot of hot topics to go over, and I know you're always bringing the bluntness. To give you guys some background on the first story we got lined up here, we got a story about Jeffree Star, the makeup and beauty influencer, and Juvia's Place, which is a really known indie cosmetic brand, Black owned. Apparently, Jeffree Star, who is vanilla, took it upon himself to go to Ulta and get some of the newest foundation for Juvia's Place. And apparently he tried the foundation, did a review on it. It was a glowing review, and people are pissed off about it.
They are. And
there's a lot of different angles to this story. It's not just as black and white as it sounds, or for no pun intended. Well, basically, it seems like Jeffree Star in the past has had some racist commentary, apparently. Maybe about 5-10 years back at this point. And so apparently people are just frustrated that someone who's had a background with racism is now reviewing a black-owned company that's really geared more to people of color. Are people being a little extra here? Are they on to something? Is there a problem here?
People are sensitive, but they are slightly on to something. The racist comments, although 5 to 10 years back, 5 to 10 years ago was like 2014, 2009. It sounds longer than what it is, but 2009 wasn't that far ago.
It really wasn't.
Obama was president.
He sure was.
Yeah. And he was still president through most of that.
Yeah.
So
it's recent. And unless you're like best friends with him, you really don't know where his mind is at, where he stands now on these issues. You don't know if he's, still talking about people. Apparently he was dropping the N-bomb quite a bit back in the day. Another makeup influencer, Jackie Aina, who's a very known influencer, who's just on the cover of Essence, actually.
Canceled him.
Yeah, she really canceled him. She's not even addressing what's been going on lately since everything hit the fan a couple of days ago. So, I mean, I think if anything, it's almost like if you have a background where you appear to have some racist tendencies, I don't even understand why you're even discussing the brand. But see, you know what? I almost like he's doing that just to try to like win some brownie points.
To get shock factor?
Well, not even shock factor. Almost like saying, hey, you know what? I'm not so racist because I just reviewed a black brand.
That's like the person who's politely racist.
Yeah. I mean, it's... I don't want to sound like I'm a hater.
No, I have black friends. Sir?
I have one black friend.
Sir?
Because it's like all the brands...
Why did you need to say that?
But see, all the brands he usually reviews are typically mainstream brands. So it's like to pick one, Juvia's Place, which if you guys don't like follow beauty like that in the sense of like makeup and cosmetics, Juvia's Place, the branding and the packaging is specifically very black. It's like
not
Egyptian.
Even that. Right. I was going to say the palettes literally have different black Egyptian goddesses on it.
Exactly.
It's blatantly super black. It's not like African American. It is African queens on the package, hand detailed on each one. And so like it's one thing if he were to review a company like Shea Moisture. Like although they are geared towards black people, we don't know who the owner is. We don't know what they look like. We don't know.
Actually, we do. But I mean, I will say
typical person doesn't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, in reality, Shea Moisture has gotten a lot more mainstream in general. I mean, they got products for the entire
exactly. If he were to do that would have been fine. It's a black people product. It's mainstream. We're great. Juvia's Place. That's.
I mean, it just makes me feel like, given his history, it makes me wonder if he just has a tendency to think he's doing something grand for those of color when he's not. Like, hey guys, I mean, I'm doing you a favor and I'm reviewing Juvia's Place, because apparently he put out a tweet recently, right before this whole thing hit the fan, and just said, hey, what new products should I be discussing? Which products are launching that you guys want to hear me do a review on? And Juvia's Place allegedly came up in the conversation amongst his Twitterverse, basically. Okay. So, I mean, I wonder if if it was just that organic that he just felt inspired to do it because someone suggested it, or if he was doing that because he wanted to throw a bone to colored people. Because I mean, I said colored, but I mean chocolate folk. You know what I mean? But throwing us a bone because like he just came out. I want to say this is maybe about a year or so back at this point. He came out with a whole palette of not palette, but a selection of new concealers, 30 different shades.
Yeah.
And he was going on and on about, oh yeah, well, you know, it's going to be all inclusive. It's 30 shades, and then it was like 20 of the shades were like vanilla, like different shades of vanilla, and then it was like, here's 4 chocolate ones. Maybe 6. I'll say 6.
I feel like everybody did that because when Fenty Beauty came out, and we were all covered under this big, beautiful umbrella made by Rihanna.
Yeah.
And then here comes all the other makeup brands. Hey, we like black people too. Don't worry.
Like,
we're here.
Right here.
We got you. Well, thanks.
Yeah, like you're doing us a favor. It's like the reality is now diversity and inclusion is trending. That's hot. That's popular right now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me.
Racially ambiguous.
Yeah. So people are jumping on the bandwagon, and so I felt like he was trying to say, oh well, because I'm Jeffree Star, I'm so fabulous. Don't think that I'm too fabulous to not be inclusive by nature without having to be told to be inclusive. But then he comes up with 30 different concealer colors. And you know the thing about makeup, it's like there's a kabillion different undertones you can have. 30 really is not sufficient, particularly when only a handful of those are for women of color and the rest are for
lighter tone.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I feel like even then he was trying to throw us a bone. And so now I think with Juvia's place, he's trying to throw us another bone and say, see, I can't be racist because I just did this review on this black brand. I was giving it a glowing review. So
I feel like he has a long way to go. He has a long way to go. If he's trying to build that audience and build that demographic in his marketing and his company, he has a ways.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of folks who follow him like that. I mean, Jeffree Star is
huge. Yeah. People follow him. Cute. However, do black influencers follow him? Do people who are extra pro-black, Black Lives Matter, my Afro rocks, do they follow him? Or is it people who are makeup influencers?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, no, here's the flip side of the coin, though. So with Juvia's place, apparently when he did the video, they shouted him out. It was like, thanks.
Oh, my God.
And then other chocolate folk were just like, wait, whoa, what? So, I mean, now it's like, so now the question is, look, they're a small brand.
They are.
They're still on the come up. So it's just like, should they be happy that they got any opportunity they can possibly get? Like, look, he's got millions
and he was able
of
to find his shade, which matters.
That's impressive.
That matters.
It's impressive. But the question is, were they wrong to accept the shout out from him?
I don't feel like they were wrong. I do feel like people were wrong to shame them for it. If a noted makeup celebrity artist, no matter how racist or I'm trying to think of an appropriate word. Prejudice was good. I was close enough.
Bigot.
Thank you. No matter how tainted his image may be, he still does have a great following. He still moves people. And so for them to thank him, it matters. I mean, all publicity is good publicity, is allegedly the term.
I mean, I almost wonder if they're better off just not saying anything, but like secretly sending, you send him a little care package, thanks, appreciate it privately. Bro. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just because the optics don't look very good. Like, I get what he was trying to do, like what they were trying to do, but and I also feel like two beggars can't be choosy. They're not at a begging stage. They're already very popular. Yeah. But that kind of endorsement is major for a brand like that.
You also can't stop people from reviewing your product.
Yeah.
You simply just can't. You can either flow with it or be mad and not respond to anybody.
Well, I'd be interested to see how their sales jump up or decrease from this whole thing, because it's happened a couple of days ago at this point. So I'm just wondering if they're going to see a boom with their finances when it comes to this situation.
I wonder if other races are going to start looking at Juvia's place, because the packaging, although it's very attractive for us, from the average vanilla girl, it might scare her, like, oh, maybe this isn't my product per se.
Yeah, I was shocked he even found the color. Like, it was almost, when I first heard he reviewed it, it was like, oh, he was trying to throw some shade, because like what else would he be like?
Why would he even touch the package?
And then they had his shade, and it's like, what? So maybe like, and it's weird to me, like, if you're going to be doing a collection of products that's going to go towards everybody and not just
and not just for everybody.
Well, yeah, but then like, why do I see Egyptian goddesses on the packaging then? If that's the case.
Then that would lead to the question of would they start putting Greek goddesses on there?
See, that's a direction.
And Oriental empresses.
Ooh, that's actually kind of smart.
And like Aztec warrior ladies.
Did you say Aztec warrior lady?
Well, no, like, I'm trying. You know, when people get tattoos and they have like the Aztec warriors with the big headdress, and it's beautiful. And like that would look great on a package. But what if that's not their demographic? What if those people do not want to buy that? What if they find it racist? We find it empowering when we see our queens and stuff like that on the packaging. What if they don't feel that same way?
Well, maybe that's what it's going to take. It's going to take them having to shift the packaging a little bit, and maybe that's part of their long-term game plan. Like, I'm glad you mentioned Shea Moisture because I want to say it's been about 3 years now, at least at this point, about 3 years
since that big explosion situation.
Yeah. So I mean, for those who don't know, who don't keep track, basically Shea Moisture did a whole ad campaign. It was a part of, there was like at least 9 different ads in this campaign that were going to run over the course of time, like one by one by one.
And it was essentially all lives matter.
Okay.
In a summary.
I mean, it's like, from an objective standpoint, I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
Because the reality is all the brands, well, not all, but many of them that were catering to only African American are trying to go towards the mainstream, or at the very least multicultural. Because there's more money in that. So I could see why they were making that move, but it looked like it was just kind of like you go from being a very pro-black brand with a very pro-black history to having a very vanilla person. I mean, we were really vanilla, like vanilla with blonde hair, like like vanilla. It was jarring to the core base.
She looked like her name was Rebecca.
Yeah, and apparently,
It is what it is.
Well, apparently it was like that was like commercial 7 out of the 9. It went out of order or something. So I mean, I know a lot of folks who are involved in that team in general. So I don't want to think that they were just like, oh, we don't care, we're just trying to go white now. I genuinely think it was just an oversight. But I remember how big of a deal that was, and Black women having to come to terms with the fact that Shea Moisture is trying to expand itself and grow, and to some degree, it's okay. And they could be bigger if they open it up to more people and to more heads of hair. So I feel like with Juvia's place, this could be a prime opportunity for that. Maybe that's what they're planning to do. Or maybe they just...
This is the limit of their growth.
Who knows? I'm really interested to hear what they got to say on that. I mean, and I don't think I've heard anything else from that. I haven't seen anything with by today of the time of us doing this recording, but I'm curious to know if they got some kind of commentary for it, some kind of background on what they're trying to do and how they really felt about the whole Jeffree Star thing. So that remains to be seen. And the next hot topic is Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
I feel like his name has been all over my social media. Like, it keeps popping up. Apparently, he was doing a music video and decided to take a stand about what happened on the
So, Tory Lanez was making a music video. Regular day, recording, being chocolate. And he had this cute girl to the side. She was Afrocentric. She had an afro. She was chocolate. She was cute. Great. Great footage. And then, in the middle of looks like a home recording from a phone, somebody tries to switch out the girl with a lighter complexion girl. And Tory Lanez is like, sir, no. Bring that back, switch it back. And then it looks like there's a little bit of like back and forth and arguing.
Okay.
And so, that surfaces, and then he rants about it. He rants about how not on his set, that's not going to happen. Chocolate. Which is great. No, that...
You're saying chocolate like it's a verb.
It's a lot of things.
Okay. Continue.
But, yeah, basically saying that, darker girls are more than welcome on his set, that they will not be switched out for lighter girls just because that's what social media tells us is what is popping. It's not necessarily the case.
Okay.
And so the directing crew came back out and was like, yeah, he's a lie. We were fine. Everything was fine. No one tried to switch out any girls. We don't have an issue with darker skinned girls. That was somebody in his camp that tried to switch them out.
Ooh. So
and so now everybody's saying, no, you're a liar. No, you're a liar.
So the question is this a real colorism, a stand against colorism, or is this a fake rant, just make himself relevant?
And that's what everybody's trying to figure out.
What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know, only because his name is a little quiet right now. You got people like Jacquees talking about he's the king of R&B. Like,
still?
Okay. Like, there's a lot of other people with their names out in social media right now, and Tory Lanez isn't one of them. So if your music is about to drop, what other way to make a splash than to come out with a scandal? Now, hopefully it doesn't backfire like a Jussie Smollett such a situation.
I feel like it already has, because everything I'm reading has been quite negative against him. Like, people basically saying he made that whole situation up. But from what I heard, both girls are in the video. and there's screen time for each of them. It just so happened in that particular scene they just switched them out, but both girls apparently. I haven't seen the video. I don't know if it's out yet, but it's like, but I hear that it wasn't even what they're saying it is. Apparently, that he's just kind of making something up.
But what if the directing crew did that because they knew that he had started a rant or started an issue about it, went back and edited and made sure she has exactly 1 minute and 45 seconds and she has exactly 1 minute and 45 seconds.
I mean, anything is possible because, I mean, if you spend any time working either in marketing or in the entertainment industry, it's not unheard of to hear a, what's the word? I guess a preference.
Issue?
I mean, colorism, but a preference towards certain shades.
Yeah.
That is not abnormal. Like, I remember when that movie about NWA that came out from out of Compton.
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. So when that came out, they had like the casting papers that were showing like what they were looking for, and they were ranking all like the girls who were extras, like the girls in the background. They had a ranking. So there's like tier A, B, C, and D.
Oh no.
And like the tier A girls, like top girls. Those are like the expensive, attractive looking girls. Those are the ones that everybody wanted.
Were
all had to be
lighter?
And they requested light skinned girls.
Oh my god.
They requested light skinned girls.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. It was a whole thing, and people were pissed about that then too. And it's like none of this really surprises me anymore. I mean, it used to surprise me. I mean, and we just did a podcast on this. Our very first episode was on this very topic, and we had Barbie Lee on board, who was kind of explaining her experiences. But I mean, the reality is, this is kind of just
it's unfortunate.
I mean, because I think it's ingrained in everybody's heads that lighter is just better.
Light is right.
Yeah, I mean, and it's unfortunate because I think, again, some of the most attractive people I've seen are chocolate people. So I don't understand that. But, you know, we did that first podcast. We were discussing it more from a standpoint of like just generally dealing with female beauty and how we receive that information from the public saying that darker is not as good as lighter. But I'd be curious to know, like, from a dude's perspective. And we just happen to be here
with
one of the the sound engineers here. I'd be curious to know your thoughts, sir. Like, just from your standpoint, do you feel the effects of colorism for you specifically?
I have been a victim of it. Not proud of it, but it was something that I kind of had to come to realization with myself. That's just their preference. That's something I can't change. Just like I can't change my skin color unless I go the Sammy Sosa route.
Ooh.
I'm not going to bleach my skin.
Dark knuckles.
Exactly. So I'm going to be me, and if it's the other way around, I'm just gonna pick the person, the lady who is appealing to the eye, whether you're light skinned, dark skinned, but it goes deeper than that. It always will.
So go back for a second. So you saying that were you dating somebody and you had an interest in somebody who basically had a preference for someone lighter?
Right.
Wow.
Right.
They just told you that outright, like, yeah, sorry, but.
And that was at a young age, so it could be an immaturity thing.
Yeah.
So it was definitely. I'm 23. I'm not that far into, I guess, the experience of or getting those experience. I haven't had too many encounters, but what I have had, it was a shocking moment. You know, I felt like it was the first racist moment I had in my life, but the girl was black. She was light skinned, so I can understand that, but it was just an odd moment.
Not really. I'm light skinned. I love chocolate man.
And I find a lot of women do.
I like the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say I would pick Morris Chestnut over Drake.
But you know what though? Like, I mean, firstly, as a yellow person, and the other engineer here is about my complexion. Y'all had a whole season in the '90s, man. It was all about the yellow guys.
Right.
Yeah, DeBarge and everybody.
Yeah, it was all about the.
that was going into 2000s.
I'm about to be 30. I was born in '90.
Wow, I am the oldest one here. God, the oldest one
know.
here. But because I remember the '90s very clearly. But like, no, I mean, but it ebbs and flows. There are seasons where chocolate folk are kind of having like this moment where it's like that's in, and then it's
being
like
melanated.
And then it goes back to being yellow for whatever the reason.
Melanated.
Yeah, there you go. It's like it doesn't make it right, but none of that really surprises me at all anymore at this point. But I mean, so with you experiencing that, you're saying you have no preferences whatsoever. You're just open-minded to whatever shade of woman
whoever rocks your boat.
Yeah.
So what rocks my boat is what's on the inside.
That's lit.
And that's to be 100. Keep it a buck. Now, of course, the first thing you see is the looks, right? So the skin complexion, the skin complexion does play a part. But as far as how you want to, how far you want to go with that person, you can't base that off what you see on the outside, because that could be fake itself. You just won't know it until later.
Well, let's touch on that for one quick second. So you mentioned, when you first look at somebody, that is kind of taken into consideration to some degree because the first thing you see is their complexion and who they are. In this situation, we're talking about girls being having a sexy girl in a music video and having the sexier girl be in the forefront. And in this sense, they had either a light-skinned girl, typical
quote unquote sexier.
Exactly.
That's debatable.
Alleged. I mean, it's like, it's all a matter of, it's subjective. But you have one girl who's more natural, who's got like that natural hair and got that whole vibe. And then you have the girl who's lighter, who's got like the long, luxurious hair, the typical, what has been seen as a standard for many years.
Quote unquote.
Like, from a male perspective, do you think that if you're watching a music video, it really matters at this point to you? Can you see the beauty either way, but, oh, she's hot regardless, even if she's got a fro or if she's got long hair, or do you still kind of lean a certain way?
That's valid.
Honestly,
I'll lean towards the concept of the video and see how say if they're showing off their bodies, that's what I'm gonna look at first. If they're showing off their beauty, then I'm gonna look at every complexion, see how beautiful you are, no matter if you pat it down with as much makeup or you got all the weave in the world in your head. It doesn't matter. If you're beautiful, I say in my eyes, you're attractive. You know what I'm saying? But that goes deeper than on what's on the outside. Like I said, you could be beautiful on the outside, ugly on the inside, no matter your complexion.
Yeah, it's very true.
Now we can just copy and paste you to like throughout the whole entire world, so we can have more of that. That'd be fantastic, because I don't often hear that.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's like
some men are shallow.
Particularly, I mean, so like in that early 20s, like I definitely would expect a more shallower answer. So I am blown away by that answer, honestly, because you just don't hear that very often. Like.
Now, I do have a preference, but it isn't based off of skin complexion. It's based off naturality.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. That's fair.
So is it looking for a girl who's like all natural or natural hair?
Not necessarily all natural, but when you go natural, how well do you take care of yourself?
I agree.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I agree, because everybody looks great with a beat face and their hair done and on their best day with their nails freshly done. What do you look like when you go to bed and you've been sick for 3 weeks?
I don't know who looks too good after all that.
I heard I'm cute.
Really?
But I don't put money on that. I don't know.
I don't know. I know my husband prefers me without makeup on, and for me, it's just kind of like I feel the most glam. Like I feel like I think I'm cute either way, but I think there's something about having the beat face and the fun hair and that sort of thing. He prefers, like, he has a preference towards me like being makeupless. It's like if I do have like weaving, it's gonna be like braids. Like he likes the braids, or me having my natural hair out. So I mean, maybe you're on to something, because I hear a lot of guys say that.
My ex-husband said if I come down the aisle with a fully beat face, he's not going to say I do.
Wait, what? Isn't it the one day when you supposed to have a beat face?
Yeah. So like when the makeup artist was like, "So what do you want me to do?"
Nothing.
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Right. Pretend like it's not there.
Well, I will say, like, I mean, because knowing how my husband was about makeup, like, he had an aversion to it. It wasn't even like you don't need makeup. It was more like I hate it. It looks clownish. Like, he doesn't like large amounts of makeup.
And it makes me feel like they didn't see the right makeup.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so
because there's bad makeup.
But I had to explain to him like the tiers of makeup. Like I remember there was one time, and he was saying it partly in jest, and we had just started dating. He was just like, "Well, you should like wear makeup like I like that whole natural look." Like he mentioned like some girl in a music video.
Define.
It was like, and it was a vanilla girl, Kobe Calais, I think.
Oh, she's pretty.
Yeah, she's pretty, and she's got that whole little sun.
But she's like hippie looking.
And for the record, do y'all know how much makeup it takes to look cute, natural on with them kind of highlights and stuff? Like
even when Alicia Keys did her natural campaign, she was still wearing makeup.
Yeah, and it irritates me. Like no
That's
shade,
not fair.
No shade to Alicia Keys, so she does look. She's a beautiful woman.
I love her.
It's like, but if you got acne or anything like that, everybody can't live that lifestyle. And the reality is, she used to have acne. Really bad, and she has access to getting the best dermatologist that money can buy, and everybody doesn't have access to that, so everybody doesn't look good with
all I have access to is olive oil and olive oil. That's it.
But see, but here's the thing. So like I think that the whole natural thing, that's fantastic. But it's like, I think that there's nothing wrong with wearing some makeup too. There's tiers. Yeah. So like this right here, like what I got on today is like the heaviest possible beat. But It's tier 3. Tier 3.
I'm at like
it's
a tier 1.5 today.
It's just like, but the thing is though, I had this much makeup on because we were shooting. We had a photo shoot today too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I would never walk around in public with this much makeup on. It feels like it's a lot of makeup.
I would question.
But you know what? But on camera, it looks like she looks like she's lightly beat with a good contour. Like it doesn't look this heavy on camera.
But
so it's
you
like
can literally feel the makeup on your skin.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like on a regular day, ain't no one wearing this much makeup. Usually it's a lot more toned down. Like I can't go makeupless just yet, but like I wear thinner makeup. So yeah, I see what you're saying though. So I appreciate you throwing a little bit of input in on that one because we never did get the male perspective last time.
We didn't.
Yeah.
And it matters because half the stuff we do, no matter how much we say it's not for men, it is.
I mean, that's science. Like women. It's like everything the genders do is typically to attract somebody. It's like that is animal. That's the animalistic nature. Like we try to attract the other gender. So it's just like why women act like, I do this for myself. I mean,
girl, lie again.
So some things are for us, like fashion. I feel like it's for us.
Or
like
competing against other women. But the only reason we compete against other women is for men.
Yeah. That's deep.
I mean,
the only reason I want to look better than the girl down the street is so my man will look at me and not her.
Which is so crazy, Kevin. I'm convinced at this point that,
and that's third straight.
It doesn't even matter because it's like you can be like the most prettiest girl and it's like, and it really makes no difference.
It makes no difference. The minute he looks at someone else, like,
you can't stop a man from
I got to do something else.
Yeah, you can't stop. It's a never-ending battle. And I feel like, meanwhile, if you're like in a relationship with guys who are just chilling, like they're not even thinking about it.
They're minding their business.
Y'all could be scruffy. They ain't wearing. Like, they can just wake up in the morning, not do their beard or cut it or trim it or nothing, looking like just ragamuffin, and it's fine.
I think they pretend like it's fine. I think they might care.
Dude, really? Y'all care?
I'll say I had an ex that took longer than me to get dressed every day. Every day.
I mean, how long are we talking? Like 10 minutes? 15? 20?
We were always an hour late to everything. Because I thought I was going to... Well, he would line himself up. And then he would line his... every day. It doesn't grow like that.
You want to have that
I know
line,
it doesn't grow like that.
Sharp lines.
He had locks. Exactly. Very clean at all times. Always an immaculate hipster look. Fancy random hat. Button-up shirt with no design.
He was a clothes horse, wasn't he? And you probably had like 5 shirts.
Dude.
And he had like
I was the boy.
But
it's only by chance I wear dresses and I just feel like that's just easy and being lazy. One piece.
But I think,
and there's air.
But opposites attract though, because it's just like, because like my husband is like the complete polar opposite. Like I like getting dolled up, I like getting dressed and going somewhere and that sort of thing. He is like, he's an actor, so like he's perfectly fine and like some
sweats.
Yeah, like just
too.
chilling. Yeah, doesn't require all that.
Tell your husband I said we're spirit animals.
All right. So we've gone down the rabbit hole. Let's get back on track. We got another hot topic. The next topic is about Serena Williams. Apparently, she was investing in the company Maven Hair, and many of you probably wear their hair. Fantastic products they have. Apparently, they're starting a new program where I think it's called Maven Install, where you can go online, pick out the hair you want, and rather than having to pay $200-300 for the weave and then pay another $200 or $300 to get it done, apparently you can choose what you want online and they will find a reputable stylist who's within their network that's near you who will then install it for free. So the price of the hair encompasses the entire install. Yeah. And I mean, from a consumer standpoint, I'm like, that sounds bomb, because I think my last, like, you did my last sew-in actually, yes. But I want to say the most I've ever spent on a sew-in is maybe about $600-700 on a sew-in, and it's just like,
not for me.
Of course, the guys in here are like, what, how? The guys are like blown away, and that's on the cheap end. it's like
Slick.
It's like, 'cause I know a lot of people who spend up to $1,000 getting their weave done and investing
and have
in
the
hair.
audacity to get it done like every 4 weeks.
See, if I'm getting $1,000 investment, I'm about to be in here.
It needs to last.
Yeah. So I mean, so the idea of me just dropping, say, $300 and it's covers the whole shebang. I mean, that sounds kind of wonderful. But I mean, you're the stylist.
Sounds suspicious.
How so?
Okay, so with a lot of the companies, when we sell hair through them, they're like, oh, you'll have all this profit and you'll have all these points and you can use these points to buy more hair. But then, like, it doesn't add up.
Oh.
So it might be great for the consumer. It's probably amazing for the company. it probably sucks for the stylist.
So it's almost like airline miles, where it's like it sounds great in theory because you're earning all these miles, but then when it comes time to actually like turn them in and do something with them, they're not worth much.
They mean nothing.
Ugh.
So let's say that it's $300 for the hair, and that includes your service. More than likely, the stylist is getting a whole bunch of points, fancy, so they can buy more hair.
Okay.
And then they're probably only getting paid $30 to $50, maybe $75. But I feel like that's a super stretch, especially for Maven. I've worked for them before, or worked with them, not for them.
So I'm stuck on $35. Like
exactly.
So I mean, so
it's
all
like,
that labor.
It's like Groupon. Like Groupon will be like, yeah, come promote your services with us, and we're only going to give you 15% of whatever they paid.
Ooh, but she's already discounted though.
It's already discounted.
Wow. So I mean, do you see it maybe being something that stylists who are just starting out, the ones who are trying to get their following up?
Yes, those are the ones who are going to go for it.
Okay, so
immediately, because they're going to end up with a whole bunch of clients they didn't really have to work for, which is beautiful. It is until a lot of times those clients are used to that luxury.
Yeah.
So they'll pay for that hair, and that's the only way they're going to get their hair done.
Huh. So you know what this kind of reminds me of? Like a slightly, not really similar, but just the concept of it, like, you know, this inexpensive weave. It's like when I like drive by and see certain salons are like advertising like
$50 weave shop.
Yeah. That always makes me like raise my eyebrow. Like, how is that kind of service? Like some things I'm not trying to get a deal on. Like installing a weave that's going to be like braiding up my natural hair and trying to keep it in check and then putting all this money into the weave itself. I don't want to get a deal. I just want the best possible installation. Yeah. Like, and so when I hear this, I feel like it's another way to like get a deal.
Well,
you know,
for the $50 weave shop, to my knowledge, from what I experienced when I went, it's $50 because you walked in the door. Now there's a charge for the needle. There's a charge for the thread. There's a charge because you sat on that left cushion instead of the right cushion. There's a charge for the braids that you need. There's a charge because you want to get it curled. There's a charge because you want to get your tracks cut instead of folded. Oh, you want a part? There's another charge.
So it's almost like
you want a full sew, and that's a charge too. Your hair smells like it may have oil in it. We got to wash it. That's a charge. So you end up spending like $100 to $150.
So it's like the Spirit Airlines of like hairstyling.
Oh, basically. Yeah. Oh, man, I love Spirit. I think I'm the only black person.
I mean,
who does.
they knit.
I love Spirit.
Wait, stop.
I go to Miami for $10. Let's go. I'm ready.
What you gonna pay?
I went to Jamaica on Spirit.
What? They have Puerto Rico on there too. I went to Cali on Spirit, and I think it cost me like $150 each way. I was like, "Oh, we're going."
God, don't they nickel and dime the crap out of you though?
They do. I could only take a backpack.
Like lawn chairs for like the chairs. Like
It's a roller coaster.
It was the best ride ever. The alcohol was cheap. It was great. I'm sorry, y'all. I love Spirit so much.
I think you're the only person in America. You're the only person in America who likes
Oh my God, I love Spirit. I went to Miami for $15.
Are you crying tears?
Yes, because I'm laughing. I love Spirit.
So, right now, I mean, now that we put this in context, I'm getting a little concerned about... I mean, I guess the thing is we need to get more information. Yeah. You know, because I want to support Serena Williams and whatever she's doing. She's a bomb. So, like...
And I'm curious as to why she invested.
I mean, she's got quite a few investments at this point. I mean, I think did she just make the Forbes list or something like that recently? Yeah, it's like because all
money making is money making. But I mean, specifically, why invest with Maven hair when she could have just done it on her own? She didn't need them.
I mean, but you know what though? I mean, so from a former business owner perspective,
it's easier.
I mean, it's already made. It's already done. Like building something from the ground up is way more expensive versus taking an existing product that already has a good reputation. By the way, people already like buy from it. They're already in a good space, and you're just investing more to make it bigger. That's like way cheaper than starting from the bottom to get here. You know what I mean? So I can see why she did that in that sense. But I just want to get more information about this install program because it does sound good in theory, but like I'm an advocate for just creatives in general and creative professionals. And even though I love a deal and I am very cheap by nature, I don't like the idea of other people getting screwed just so I can have the opportunity to be able to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? And to me, it's like how you describe that, it has the potential for that, but I'm willing to give it some time to see.
Yeah, to let it marinate and see what actually happens.
Yeah, because if it's a benefit to the stylist too, I mean, if they can make it a win-win, then I mean that would be revolutionary, honestly.
Yeah.
because people spend a lot of money on hair weaves.
Mm-hmm. The original Maven hair program that they have for stylists before this one, what would happen is you send your clients to your personal store, which is made by Maven. It would be like yourname.maven.com. Mm-hmm. And they would go and they would purchase hair. Mm-hmm. And so you as a stylist have to figure out, how do I drive people to this website? Mm-hmm. In exchange, when people buy hair, I think it was like 15%, maybe a little bit less of the profit goes towards you. Mm-hmm. People are spending $200 to $300 on hair. Mm-hmm. You get that profit. Don't quote me on the math because it's probably horrible. I do hair.
It's like 40. So on $300, 15%, you're looking at like about
30,
$45,
something like that,
45
right?
Maybe.
And so let's say my regular sewing is $100. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, okay, well, if I'm gonna make this money on the back end from them buying the hair, let me just be like, oh, your sewing's $50, and everybody comes running in the door for their $50 sewing, but you have to buy hair on Maven,
and then pay for the needle in the cornrow.
Well, no. Well, that's what I did. I stopped it there.
You stopped it there.
I stopped it there. It's a $50 sewing, any kind of sewing you want.
Yeah.
But you have to buy the hair from Maven. You have to send me a receipt. I have to know that you bought it. Mm-hmm. And then, girl, come get your $50 sewing, because Maven paid the other half of it already for you.
Jeez.
But that's a lot.
It's a lot. But, I mean, it's clever what they're trying to do, though. Mm-hmm. And, again, I think consumers are asking for that. I think consumers want a more affordable option because everybody can't afford to be paying $300 to $500, $600.
Absolutely not.
It's like, and I know some who just go to their friends and that sort of thing, but I just feel like right now, this whole natural thing right now, we trying to like make sure our hair stay together like after the fact.
It's more so wigs than sew-ins. I can't think of the last time I did a leave-out sewing on somebody.
Really? Mm-hmm. I thought it was wigs and closures. Like sew-ins still had a thing, but closures.
But closures are for basically those of us who are wearing leave-out. Mm-hmm. We're now on closures, and those who are wearing closures are now into full wigs.
I mean, wigs are just so magical. I mean, I feel like it's so much more convenient because you can choose to sew it down if you're that pressed about it, or you can just take it off, and it's like it's going to be.
Oh, our poor men! They get so scared when we
You know what? I feel like I told this story at some point with the tale of when I first met my husband, and like he met me when I was natural, and I had a fro, and I was like. I had like that red and blonde hair, like that fire colored hair, and it was like natural. But when I first met him, though, I had a wig on, and it was about the same density and length of my own hair. So when I was going back and forth and switching out, he really couldn't tell. And it wasn't until I had dramatically different. It was like a wig, like it was like blonde like this, where it's just kind of like, okay, you were like. You had black hair yesterday, and it was like this short. So like, what just happened?
Something happened.
Yeah, and so he was just kind of like, "Is that a wig?" And I was like, "Yeah." And and it's like this awkward silence, like you almost hear crickets. It was like, well, I think he had this view that people who wore wigs had like no hair,
grannies,
or they had like dried up hair underneath, and it was frightening. And that means that
it's actually quite the opposite.
Yeah, I have a head full of hair. It's just like, you do my hair, you battle with it, so it's like it's thick, dense hair, so I don't prefer to always have it out. But once he saw, like, I literally took out. I used to wear my hair in twist underneath my wigs. I can't cornroll.
Took off the wig and looked like.
Well, I took a twist from up underneath the wig. It was like, see, you can touch it. It's actually soft and healthy, and it's not like dried up and scary.
It's not Brillo pad.
And I promise you, that was enough for him. Because the first few months, like if we went to bed or anything,
he was terrified.
I would sleep in my wig. Oh. It was traumatic. It was just like I can't keep doing. It's like going to bed with a hat on.
Poor baby.
A toboggan.
A very hot hat.
Because I didn't want to scare him. Yeah.
They're not ready. They don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like now he doesn't care. I mean, I have like wig headstands in like the house. He's not disturbed by it now. But I do think you got to communicate. You got to communicate you have that. Because to me, I can spot a wig. I don't care if it's a $500 wig or a $20. I can spot one usually a mile away.
Yeah.
But like men don't really have that spidey sense to pick up on that. So I feel like for bedroom logistics, you need to be open and honest about, hey, this is a removable hair unit on my head.
Because I have locks. And so when I wear a wig, I'm a different kind of light-skinned person.
Oh, God. Are you one of those people? Like,
no, not on purpose. I mean, like, the people around me or people who will hit on me.
Yeah.
I've gotten free gas. But with just my locks, I don't necessarily get free gas, but I do get the more woke people approaching me. And most times they look gross. They look like they smell like rice. But
Rice.
It's a different group of people.
So this is supposed to be another topic on our show later. So we're not going to go too deep into that, but there is a lot of truth to it. Because it's like when your hair is different, you attract different people. Like when my hair is out, like my natural hair is out, I get lots. It's very Hotepian. I get lots of Hotep dudes who approach me.
Ooh,
whereas
the Hoteps.
yeah, it's like these very deep, earthy guys who like
Queen.
who like light incense, like those kind of guys. And then you have like when my hair is like this, when I look like a Kardashian, then it's like I get a whole
somebody who might be on the Forbes list.
It's really bizarre.
Who might have like been born into it on accident.
I mean, it's like it's different, especially like long hair is one thing, different shades of it. Like blonde long hair is a whole different connotation. You attract a whole different group of people. Of course, you have two men in the room with us, and they're probably looking like, "What are you talking about?"
I feel exactly what you're saying.
I mean, it's different. It's different. So I mean,
I was like, I got lock extensions for my birthday, and I had them all the way waist length. They were wavy and long and uniform looking. The response was completely different from my regular locks.
But it's almost
they
like
were completely different. I can't wait till my stuff gets booty length. And be like Lisa Bonet, ignoring everybody.
I really think that's what it is. It's that Lisa Bonet effect. Because like my husband, like I know like most men think she's like really attractive and everything. It's something about that bohemian.
If her
long
hair
look.
was shorter, nobody would care.
No, not at all. I think that's always been a part of her allure. Like if I could just take off the wigs and the weaves and just say, you know what, I'm just gonna do dreads. Like we've been talking about me getting dreads for the longest. I've been going back and forth on it. Caesar, you're right.
It varies.
You're right.
It depends on your culture.
Really? I just had a conversation with Mike about that during the radio show.
A lot of debates. Some people legit want to call their locks dreads. Because they're like, no, we're not going to let the man take this away from us. If we want to call it dreads, we can call it dreads. And then there's other people who are like, no, if it fits the curl of your hair pattern, it's a lock of hair. It is a lock. Stop trying to say that it's dreadful.
See, that's what I was hearing before. And I have to make an effort. Yeah,
precisely.
It's like that.
Precisely. Yes. Take back the power, quote unquote.
It gets so weird because like I feel like I forgot what her name was. She's a very known loctician, and she did an event for me and a group that I was with years back, and she was like schooling us on that. And I had to be very like intentional to say locks. Like even just now you had to kind of correct me because I don't discuss locks very often.
Yeah.
So I have to like remember like, okay, locks, not dreadlocks. Even though it goes as a discussion, I think locks are the safest. But now we're at the part of the show where we're discussing what is in and what is out. And you got two contenders to consider today. First one being box braids. Now we've been seeing braids, lemonade braids, kind of braids.
Braids, banana braids.
Yeah.
Goddess braids.
There's a lot to choose from. So the question is the old school traditional back to your roots box braids, are those still in?
You ain't got to lie, Craig braids.
Those are braids. So the question is like, are they still in? I mean, I don't mean braids in general. I think braids obviously are not going anywhere.
They can't go anywhere.
But box braids specifically.
Box braids are back with a force.
We did see Rihanna rocking some recently.
Yes.
Like long and red, and it was like yes. But see, I feel like what made it fresh though was that color and that length. That to me is what made them fresh. It wasn't just like your basic single color.
But Rihanna can do that.
Well, she's Rihanna.
The average office American cannot walk in with bright red, ratchet red, highlighter red, nothing.
I'm getting kind of tired of like any color being seen as like ratchet. Like why can't it just be that's the color I chose today?
It depends how you wear it.
True.
It depends how you wear it because if someone were to walk in with tank top and jeans and green braids, okay, ratchet. Yeah. Weirdo. Okay. But if somebody were to come in more hipsterish, classy, a little chic with like a fancy top and it might even offset the braids. Maybe the braids aren't even the main focus of the outfit. She's classy. She's fashion forward. And it's how you dress it up. And Rihanna is a fashion icon.
She could do whatever she wants.
Yes,
she could walk in the room with feathers and a duck on her head, and somehow it would be like dope as crap. Like, I feel like in general, Rihanna can get away with just about anything. But I feel like, you know what? I think we are in a new era because you're seeing more chocolate folk literally not caring no more about what people got to say about their hair. We're just doing what we want to do.
We're finally having jobs where we can not care about what we do anymore.
But you know what? What kills me is like I used to hear all the time about what was appropriate, what was not, always having to wear straight hair. Yeah, exactly. And I would go to work and be like working with folks who have like Like vanilla folks who have locks, like in all funny rainbow colors down their behinds, but they're creative and that's okay. They're creatives. And I'm supposed to be respecting that. But like if I do, it's
we're
like
supposed to be conservative.
Yeah.
It's already a lot that we're black and we have loud voices and large features on our face. How dare we be audacious with our hair?
I mean, I will say the climate has shifted because it used to be because back in the day, I've been in the workforce for a very long time, and like back in the day, you would have to like temper yourself. You know what I mean? Like, so I wouldn't wear super bold colors.
You can't scare people.
It's like you always speak in the incorrect English, very softer voice and smile, and always try to like not be intimidating because
your knees and elbows must be covered. My mom told me that one time.
Oh, that's a good one, knees and elbows.
I was like, wow.
Child, I was Church and God of Christ. We were raised with the prayer cloth at all times, even when you're not in church.
What is a prayer cloth?
A prayer cloth is like a little handkerchief. It's almost like a square handkerchief or a square scarf, and you put it on your lap when you're wearing a skirt. So that way you don't show your hoo-ha to the people who are like walking by.
Never in my life.
Prayer scarf.
But I am Muslim, and up until like the last 10 years, every time I went home, wrap that guy up. What are you doing? Why can't we see your hair? Put that away. What are you doing?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's gotta be. It just feels oppressive to me. Like, I mean, and not no shade to the
No, you're fine.
But just like the idea of having to be like to always have to be wrapped. Like, there's no safe place where you can be unwrapped in that. So okay.
No.
Yeah. So it's like it's one thing to not be able to be comfortable in your workplace where you spend 8, 10, 12 hours of your day, but then have to go home. It's a whole different conversation entirely. But I think in general you're seeing a lot more unapologetic, unbothered black folk. It's this new generation coming up though. It's like it's like the ones after the millennials, like, or kind of like the tail end of the millennials are coming up.
I think they're called Gen X.
Is it Gen X?
Wait,
because millennials that's a weird. It's like because technically I'm still considered one because I'm like on the latter end of it.
Really?
Like if you were born, it said as far back as 82, you consider, and I'm 83.
Yeah, I'm
so,
90. So.
Yeah, so technically we're in the same generation, which is weird. Cause I don't feel like I feel like we're two different generations, and not in a bad way. I just feel like I came up in a different era.
Well, no, I consider you like an older cousin, not nearly auntie or like mom.
If someone ever called me auntie, you're gonna fight. By the way, I'm just putting that out there. I'm putting that out there right now.
I would never.
Yeah, that was a hot topic
older
too, by
cousin,
the way.
Like someone who went to college before I went to college.
Yeah. See, I can deal with older cousin. I can accept that. It's like I'm okay with aging. I'm not okay with being called auntie because I do be thinking like when I hear that sounds like
old wigs, short James Brown looking wigs.
It's so funny because that was just a conversation with Oprah and Ava DuVernay and Gail, and they were saying how don't call us auntie because it offends them because it's like they're saying they're old, but it's like Ava DuVernay I can see saying that because she's like in her mid-40s.
She is?
Yes.
Oh, swear.
She's like in her mid-40s. Like, but Gail and Oprah, like y'all are in y'all.
We know where
y'all
they
in y'all 60s and going into 70s. Like
she still didn't marry Stedman.
She didn't because she does what she wants to do because she's Oprah. But
hey, man.
I think though when it comes to the idea of respect, like it's supposed to be like a respect thing. Like I had old assistants who still call me like, oh mother, like they joke around like that, but not like in a oh you're old, but like in a they look up to me kind of way.
Well,
so,
yeah, my mom beat that into me. Every person that I can kind of gauge that you may even potentially be older than me, there's a miss at all times.
Oh yeah, it's Southern too.
Yeah,
it's like,
I had a boss who I think she was like maybe 6 years older than me, but she acted older than me. So I was like, oh, Miss Brandy, and people, my friends would come around, and she ended up coaching our dance team, and people would call her by her first name, and I'd be like, talking about Miss Brandy?
I mean, people get offended by that though. I first started working and like I was calling all my bosses Mr. and Mrs. and they would get so pissed off, like stop doing that. Yeah, it's like as far as they're concerned, it's like you're out of college, we're equals. So why are you calling me? It's just like it took me a while to get out of that, but now that I'm like in my 30s and it's just like, oh, okay, don't call me Mr. It freaks me out now. Like when a 20-something is like, oh, ma'am. Oh, it pisses me off, ma'am. It's like, we're not there yet. Like, it's like it's not time for that. It's not time for auntie. But okay, out the rabbit hole, back into the topics. Yes. The braids. I think all in all, when I see those box braids, I see a representation of black women no longer feeling suppressed or stifled when it comes to their creativity and who they are in their personal style. Braids are a part of our heritage.
I'll say it goes back to the tribal days.
It does. It does. And it's about darn time that we, step outside of that. Yeah. I mean, even with hype hair, like that's been one of the joys of like stepping into that position with the editor and like really like bringing out some more of these styles that are coming in a way where it's like braids can now be considered work acceptable. Because there was a time when they weren't,
Yeah.
Box braids, I think, again, I still think when I think of box braids or counter braids, I still think of summer styles, vacation. But I have been seeing more of them in the workplace. Like a lot of the PR girls I know, you'll see them like with like the fades on the side, and they have like the braids like down to their ankles or whatever. I've been seeing a lot of that, mostly in the PR field, which is a more creative field.
Yeah, I'll say in creative fields you can do that. There's a girl I know who's in marketing for a car sales company, and she had me recently do some ombre purple to pink box braids. And I wanted to ask her, but I didn't want to just ask her, like, hey, where do you work? Because if I am responsible for getting you fired, I don't want to be responsible. Because my mom but she had a client come in and get electric blue box braids because those were the school colors for her senior year.
Yeah.
She got suspended in 2 days.
But you know what, though? New York has done it, and California is trying to do it now. They're trying to put laws in place. You can't discriminate against people's hair like that anymore.
But I'm not saying we should discriminate. I'm not. But they told the little girl her hair was distracting. Now, had she gotten a darker blue or a navy, I could see it.
What does that even
wouldn't
mean,
be distracting.
Distracting. If I'm in
it's
class,
not gonna stop me from learning.
It's like, oh no, I can't focus on this math problem because her hair is so electric blue. Like no one's.
For those of a vanilla color, I think that's a real problem.
I mean, I think they're distracted.
They're distracted when they see our hair goes from 10 inches down to 22.
And that's not our issue. And
it shouldn't be.
It's not our issue. And there's a disclaimer: we're not saying all white people. We're saying some. Not. But like, regardless, I think that it's. At some point, it's almost like, why can't we just accept this is a cultural thing? Back off. Like,
we're in 2019. It should be okay.
It should be. Apparently not.
I was like, it's similar to when we were kids, and if a man came to the house, your mom would say, "Go put some pants on." If you were wearing shorts.
I still believe that.
And but why is a man looking at me like that? I'm 5.
Because the belief is that men can't control themselves. Now, granted,
white people can't control themselves. I apologize. That was rude, but
it's a whole different discussion.
That would be like flipping the verbs in it.
Yeah.
If men should be able to control themselves, people who don't wear electric blue box braids should also be able to focus on their schoolwork.
I mean, I think the moral of the story is if folks can just stay in their lane and mind their business, we would.
Facts.
This would be a happier planet.
Facts.
But okay, so box braids in. That's been established.
Yes.
All right. So next thing, man weaves, in or out?
In. Now, of course, men feel the opposite way.
What? Why? I'm seeing a whole bunch of dudes rocking it.
The common term for it would be fetty wap. Fake dreads, fake hair, anything added, anything not grown out of your scalp. You are not a man. You are now a woman, because that is what women do. No.
But see, what if no one can tell?
Exactly, that's the point.
I have seen some excellent installations.
I've done some excellent installations, and the men refuse to let me post their picture.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
I've put on a fake beard and everything.
I mean, I think this is revolutionary. Like y'all,
I feel like it's not fair.
Men were doing Rogaine. They were doing Rogaine for years, where it's just like.
But they lied about it.
I mean,
they weren't.
But see, I think in general, clearly it's a thing because it's thriving.
Yeah.
I know. Like I interviewed Wade the barber, who is based up in DC. He does a whole lot of them.
Yeah,
and he's teaching like classes. And he's going across the world with this. Like and people are flying in to get their installations done, flying in DC. So clearly there's a necessity, whether folk want to be out about it or not. It should be in. It's like you're already seeing like. We went through a phase with mail bags, like handbags, like for men. And
Remember the rompers?
Oh yeah, that was a gross period. I wasn't a huge fan of it for a lot of logistical reasons that didn't make any sense.
I was so excited for that.
It's like, but I mean,
how are they gonna pee? Because when we have rompers,
but I mean, they
end up in the bathroom
it's
naked.
A button down, so they can probably it's probably an exit way. I mean, okay.
Someone said perhaps they would just pull up the shorts, but what if they're not endowed enough for that? See, and then there's a problem.
I would just think if it's a button up, a button down type of romper,
they could
you could open a couple of the buttons.
But what if it's not enough?
And on to the next situation. So we're
but man weaves are lit. I think it is a good alternative.
It's necessary, I think, for a lot of men.
And waves are coming back. And what if you have alopecia? Or what if you've had cancer? And you don't necessarily want everybody to know that.
Yeah. And everybody doesn't look good with bald hair.
Facts. Everyone's head is kind of, some people really did get dropped as babies, and it's evident.
Did you say dropped as babies?
Dropped as
Maybe
babies.
their moms just didn't shape their heads correctly.
We're in Atlanta, where there's Grady Memorial.
I've never been to Grady. It must be okay.
My mom said they bounce babies like basketballs. And that was in 97. So I can only imagine what their heads look
Grady.
like.
Okay.
You can get shot at Grady, though. You will survive.
Did you say you can get shot at Grady?
Well, no, that's like the going thing. Like, if you go to Grady Memorial from a gunshot, you'll survive. But if you go in for anything else...
So they specialize in gunshot wounds, but not in holding babies.
Basically, critical care, yeah.
That's concerning. Okay, so we know box braids are in, man weaves are still in. Is there anything that's out right now that we need to touch on? I think that so far it's been a...
Feed-in braids going into passion twists, I think, are weird. I'm not
saying
saying no.
that.
I just think it's questionable. Now, I feel like people are going out of their way to be like, oh, let's do something different. You've run out of things. Please stop.
It must be time-consuming to install them things.
Yeah, because the hair that you would use for feed-in braids is not the hair for passion twists. And so I'd be worried about mathematically how that would go. Because then it's a whole like hairstylist science experiment, essentially. And it makes me worry. And then passion twists in themselves they're not questionable. They're definitely in. It's definitely a style that a lot of women are interested in and want to get done. However, a lot of people are finding that after a week,
they start getting problematic.
That YouTube tutorial only goes but so far. And so either your hair looks like it's 2 months old, or it's probably falling out.
Well, I've been hearing that. It's like because I was thinking about getting passion twists for the summer, and I was hearing that even the crochet versions, like they kind of get like natty, like really.
They start to stick together.
Yeah. So it's almost like it sounds almost like Marley braids.
They are like Marley twists. They just did them with different hair, and it's so cute
in the beginning.
It is that day.
I mean, it's like 4 or 5 hours in the chair and several $100s
to be cute that day, and maybe on vacation. But then when you get home and you go back to your man and you lay in the bed and he's like, "Babe, what's that? What's what? What's that piece of hair sticking out from your braid? What happened?" "Oh, it's just my passion twist." Flips hair, goes to sleep.
See, that's why you should take the $200 and put it towards some Maven hair so you can just get it installed for free.
Fancy.
Yep, see? All right, y'all. This has been an enlightening podcast with Miss Aissatou. I'm so glad you came to join us today, ma'am.
Always.
It's been a pleasure, but definitely tune back in with us. We got some more hot topics along the way for the next episode. But until then, respect the crown. Thanks for listening.
Respect the crown.